There was a time when horsepower was a declaration of war. Detroit wasn't just building cars, it was building kingdoms. And in 1964, Ford and Chevrolet stood at the edge of an arms race that would change the face of American motorsport forever. When the flag dropped at Daytona, something extraordinary was about to happen. Ford's engineers had crafted a monster in secrecy, an engine so radical that NASCAR officials called it an unfair advantage. They called it the 427 Cammer, short for Single Overhead Camshaft 5.8, a 616 horsepower behemoth forged to destroy Chevrolet's big block dominance. But this wasn't just about racing, it was about identity. Ford was tired of seeing Chevrolet dominate headlines, trophies, and the hearts of car lovers across America. What happened next would define the golden age of power and end it. Behind closed doors in Dearborn, Ford's racing division worked under impossible pressure. After losing face to Chrysler's 426 Hemi and Chevy's rising big blocks, Ford was desperate for redemption. The order was simple: build an engine that can beat them all in 90 days. The result was engineering madness. They took the rugged 427 FE block, the same one that had powered Le Mans winners, and gave it something no American 5.8 had ever seen. Dual overhead camshafts driven by a 6-foot timing chain, hemispherical combustion chambers, and titanium valves that could withstand 8,000 RPM. The result? Over 600 horsepower in factory trim and over 750 horsepower when tuned for drag racing. The engine screamed like nothing else. Mechanics said it sounded more jet than car. But before the Camry could even stretch its legs, NASCAR slammed the door. Officially, the reason was non-production compliance. Unofficially, it was because Chevy and Chrysler didn't stand a chance. Sound cue: sudden silence. Cut to grainy photos of Ford engineers staring at a disassembled Camry. Ford had built the most powerful outlaw in American racing history. While Ford gambled on complexity, Chevrolet doubled down on evolution. The big block lineage began with the W Series 348 and 409, workhorse engines that grew into the legendary Mark IV 396 and 427. Chevrolet's strategy wasn't to build one invincible engine, it was to build many good ones that could survive anything. They refined their valve train geometry, perfected airflow through canted valves, and mastered the art of durable power. The result? A platform that could dominate both the strip and the street. By 1966, the L72 427 produced 425 horsepower from the showroom floor. The race-spec L88 crossed 560 horsepower, but only for those who knew how to unlock its potential. With Zora Arkus Duntov, the mad genius behind the Corvette, Chevy built engines that could win, break, and come back the next weekend. The big block was raw, reliable, and street legal. And that's what made it unstoppable. While Ford's Camry was being banned, Chevrolet's engines were winning races, selling cars, and conquering America's driveways. You can ban an engine from the rulebook, but you can't ban it from legend. When NASCAR turned its back on the 427 Camry, drag racers opened their arms. Names like Mickey Thompson, Connie Kalitta, and Don Dino Nicholson took the Camry into the quarter-mile battlefield. The engine's ferocious power and insane redline tore through competition. In top fuel rails and funny cars, the Camry screamed past 200 miles per hour, until, once again, it was too good for its own good. In 1971, the NHRA quietly outlawed it from top fuel competition, marking the end of its racing life. But its myth only grew stronger. Meanwhile, Chevrolet's big blocks were everywhere, in Corvettes, Camaros, Chevelles, and Impalas. Their presence was cultural, cinematic. You heard them in drive-ins, drag strips, and back roads across America. If Ford's Camry was the forbidden fruit, Chevy's big block was the apple everyone could bite. And yet, those who drove both knew the truth. The Camry was pure power, elegant, violent, and uncontainable. Here's where the rivalry becomes almost philosophical. The 427 Camry was precision-obsessed engineering, forged titanium rods, hemispherical chambers, and a timing chain that stretched like a cathedral organ. It revved higher, breathed better, and made more power per cubic inch. The big block Chevy, on the other hand, was the champion of efficiency, push rods, canted valves, simple geometry, and endless adaptability. It was easy to tune, easy to fix, and could be found in everything from a family sedan to a Le Mans prototype. Let's talk numbers. Ford 427, SOHC, 616 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, 480 pound-feet torque, cost over $3,000 to build in 1965. Chevy 427L88, 560 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, 470 pound-feet torque, cost under $1,200 in race spec. Weight difference? Only 60 pounds. But accessibility made the difference. Chevy's big blocks could be bought, built, and beaten without needing a Dearborn engineer on call. Still, in raw mechanical beauty, the Camry stood alone. Its design was a glimpse of the future, the architecture that would inspire Ford's modular SOHC engines decades later, from the GT500 to the Ford GT. Chevy's lineage lived on too. The LS7, the ZL1, the monstrous 572 crate engine, all direct descendants of the Mark IV bloodline. Two philosophies, two legacies, both timeless. By the early 1970s, the horsepower war was over. Insurance restrictions, emissions laws, and oil crises buried the age of mechanical excess. The factories went quiet, the dynos stopped screaming, and the legends were sealed away in museums and private collections. But the rivalry between Ford's 427 Camry and Chevy's big blocks was more than an engineering contest. It was a statement of era, ego, and evolution. It showed what American ingenuity could achieve when limits were ignored. Today, a Camry-powered Mustang can fetch over $700,000 at auction. A pristine L88 Corvette? Nearly the same. But their real value isn't in dollars, it's in the sound. That deep, guttural thunder that still echoes in every modern performance car. Because even now, 50 years later, when